Hello there, this is Robert Downey Jr. Press the free like button if you think that Dwayne Johnson is the most overrated action film star of all time. Obviously, I'm a better actor than The Rock, we all know that. Unlike Dwayne, I actually know how to play a legendary comic book character in movies.
Listen, don't be fooled by Triple H. Okay, now you are seeing a strong, more heavy pushed Chad Gable now, right? Right now, Chad is a top heel on Raw. Now, I think Triple H, he's trying to play damage control regarding Chad Gable because he now realizes that it was a mistake for Sami Zayn to beat Gunther. That was bad booking. That was a dumb mistake that Triple H did because Sami Zayn has done nothing since winning that championship. Listen, this current Chad Gable story, like, bruh, you could have told this story after he beat Gunther. It's like, this is a easy story to tell. You didn't need Sami Zayn. And here's why. Let's say Chad Gable would have beaten Gunther for the IC belt at WrestleMania. Bruh, you can still turn him heel. Let's say Chad Gable would have had a big ass head after beating Gunther. Let's say Chad Gable would have been cocky, arrogant. The fame is now going to his head. Okay, you could have told that same story after he beat Gunther. You didn't need Sami Zayn. Now look at Sami Zayn. He's doing nothing. His pops are getting lower and lower. He's doing nothing for that IC championship. Listen, the IC championship is back to where it was 3 years ago. It's nowhere. I'm like, bro, Sami Zayn is a multiple-time IC champion. Did Sami Zayn do anything to elevate the IC championship years prior? No. So why give it to him now? It made no sense. It should have been Chad Gable. You can still turn Chad Gable heel. Case in point, right now. It feels like Chad Gable, his ego has gone to his head. Bruh, you can tell that same story regardless. If he lost to Gunther or he beat Gunther, you can still tell that story. Now Chad Gable, he's now getting over as a heel. Now, I know these past 2 years, I've been very hard on Chad Gable. Why? Because Chad Gable was booked as a loser. I don't back losers. I don't push losers. I don't like losers. I don't care how good you are. If you are booked as a loser, I cannot support you. But it looks like Triple H has had a change of heart. He knows that was a mistake to have Sami Zayn beat Gunther because now it means nothing. Nobody cares. It did not get Sami Zayn any more over because now it's all about Chad Gable. It's all about Chad Gable and Otis. I'm like, bruh, Sami Zayn, he is a fucking bystander now. Nobody cares about him. He is just there. Now people just want him to drop the belt to Chad Gable. Bro, that's bad. That's not good. Okay, let's say Braun Breaker was to beat Gunther for the IC championship. Do you think people would want him to drop the fucking belt a month later? No. If Chad Gable beat him, do you think people would want Chad Gable to drop the goddamn belt to Sami Zayn a month later? That's my point. That's why I made that video. Look, the moment Sami Zayn beat Gunther, I said that was bad. That's bad booking. That was awful. It should have been Braun Breaker or Chad Gable or Jey Uso. Now look at Jey Uso. Look at Jey compared to Sami Zayn. Who's more over? Now do you see my point? I'm never wrong. I have an eye for talent. Look at Jey Uso. He is the most over guy on Raw. Look at Braun Breaker. He is the hottest heel on Raw right now, based on what he did on Raw. Look at Chad Gable. Chad Gable, he's hot right now. Now people want to see him win the IC championship. So by that logic, Sami Zayn did not deserve to dethrone a historical champion like Gunther. It meant nothing. Because now people don't care about Sami Zayn as the IC champion. All we care about is what's going on with Otis and Chad Gable. What's going on now, right? Now people want to see Chad Gable as the IC champion. And it's all Triple H's fault. Because we could have gotten here. Regardless. All Chad Gable could have did was, okay, have a big ass head, become cocky, arrogant, since beating Gunther. And then he bullies Otis. But as the IC champion, do you see my point? Sami Zayn did not need to beat him. Sami Zayn did not need to beat Gunther. we could have gotten Chad Gable as a heel regardless. So why not give the belt to Chad Gable at WrestleMania? Like I said, the moment he beat him, I said, listen, we are not going to care about this 2 weeks later. Was I wrong? I told you, we are not going to remember him beating Gunther 2 weeks from now. Was I wrong? People have moved on to a heel Chad Gable. This heel Chad Gable has overshadowed Sami Zayn as the IC champion. Like I said, if you are going to have a guy drop the belt like Gunther, it needs to be to a Chad Gable or a Braun Breaker or a Jey Uso. Guys that never held singles championships on the main roster. That's my point. You gotta elevate the next guy up. Sami Zayn, he's already elevated from the fucking bloodline and Roman Reigns. So what was the point, right? I'm like, you could have told that Rocky 3 storyline with Chad Gable, but him as Rocky and Sami Zayn as Apollo. It made no fucking sense. My God. Chad Gable is legit. He is a legit amateur wrestler. So he can be Rocky, right? Rocky was an underdog. Chad Gable is a 5'8" underdog. You can tell that story. Common sense. He has a Rocky story. This dude went from freaking Shorty G to now this Chad Gable. He came a long way. I'm like, he never held singles championships on the main roster. Okay, give him a chance. He has the fan support more than fucking Sami Zayn. Now Sami Zayn is a multi-time IC champion. Okay, why? It did nothing for his career moving forward. Now Triple H, he realizes he made a fucking big mistake. It was dumb. I'm right, and you know it. I'm always right. Listen, I'm not saying I'm the biggest Chad Gable fan, but I am objective. That's what being objective means. Yeah, I don't gotta be a huge fan of him, but I go by common sense. Common sense means you are objective. I have common sense. Common sense means either Chad Gable, Jay, Braun Breaker should have beaten Gunther for the IC championship. Now look at Jay, look at Braun, look at Chad Gable on Raw. They have overshadowed Sami Zayn. That is an odd coincidence, actually. Weird coincidence. But should Chad Gable beat Bronson Reed and Sami Zayn for the IC championship at Saudi Arabia? Yes. But he should have been the IC champion a long time ago at WrestleMania. It's like, man, that's gonna be crazy if Chad Gable becomes the IC champion damn near a month later. I'm like, wow. Then what was the point of Sami Zayn dethroning the greatest IC champion of all time? What was the fucking point? See, this is proof. This is proof that Triple H knows he made a mistake if Chad Gable becomes the IC champion. This is called a Band-Aid. This is called, yeah, I fucked up by making Sami Zayn beat Gunther. Because Chad Gable should become the IC champion. Because now we can move on to him and Otis. And I think they might want to pair up the Creed brothers and Chad Gable. Kind of like Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas with Kurt Angle. I can see this faction. This will be a great faction. So when Chad Gable becomes the IC champion, how long should Chad Gable hold that belt? I would give him a 6-month reign, and then I can see Otis possibly beating him for that IC championship. Because, man, Otis, he's getting over because people feel sorry for him. I think that's the point. Give Chad a strong title reign, and then people are going to want to see Otis dethrone him for the IC championship. But I'm glad Triple H has woke up and he knows he made a fucking mistake. Sami Zayn, he's going nowhere. His kind of character has a ceiling, right? Guys like that, they have a ceiling, right? Those Daniel Bryan-like characters, they have a ceiling. Those Kofi Kingston-like characters where you would try to root for them, right? Because they are this big-ass underdog. But eventually, you wake up and you get over it. That's what Sami Zayn is. A guy like a Sami Zayn, he can't have a long title reign because eventually the crowd will get bored of him. The crowd is very fickle. They always get bored of underdog champions, just like Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston, etc. Freaking Eddie G, right? Remember? Listen, people were tired of Eddie G. When he beat Brock Lesnar, it's like, I don't get it. Every time somebody dies, their legacy becomes enhanced. But I'm like, bro, where was that same energy when Eddie G was the world champion? There is a reason why Eddie G will go down as the lowest drawing champion of all time. Why is that? That's why Eddie G, he wants it to drop the belt to JBL. So, how is he a top 10 wrestler? Why do people hold him at such a high regard? I'm like, you can't do that. Yes, Eddie G is a legend, but keep that same energy, man. Where were you at when this guy was depressed? He was depressed when he was a world champion. Why? Because he wasn't drawing shit. Because of you fickle ass fans. That's my point. Underdog champions don't draw shit because the crowd will eventually turn on them. I call it, okay, what's next? Right? Okay, you beat Daniel Bryan. Okay, what's next? Right? You beat Triple H and Dave Bautista. Okay, now what's next? Okay, you beat Brock Lesnar. Okay, now what's next? Right? That was Eddie G. So, why do people hold this guy at such a high regard? Where were you at when he was depressed and stressed out as the world champion? Because you fans were not supporting him. Oh, now all of a sudden, he's better than Rey Mysterio? Like how? Just because he's dead? Listen, let's try to turn this around. Let's say Rey Mysterio was the one who died and not Eddie G. I guarantee you this. People would say Rey Mysterio was better than Eddie G. That's a fact. That's how fickle you people are when it comes to people dying. Like, I don't get it. Just because a guy dies, that should not enhance his legacy as a wrestler. Because when both those guys were alive, nobody was saying Eddie G was better than Rey Mysterio, bruh. That's a fact. That is a well-known fact. Fucking Rey Mysterio was an upper mid-card guy compared to Eddie G, who was a mid-card guy during their primes. So how can you say Eddie G is better than Rey Mysterio? Oh, right, he's dead. So that means he's better than Rey Mysterio. Bro, that's crazy. But to make a long story short, Sami Zayn should not be IC champion. That was a bad move. It should have been Chad Gable or Braun Breaker. I'm glad that Triple H knows he made a mistake. Now we are about to move on to the Chad Gable era as a top heel on Raw as the IC champion. And I'm glad that he now has a robe. That's a great touch. That's a great look. Chad Gable looks like a fighter. That's it. I'm done.